The Bills had an interesting addition to their injury report yesterday. Rasul Douglas did not practice. Injury just got here. He arrived via trade from the Packers the day before. The official NFL injury report said not injury-related / travel. Just got here. A lot more interesting than that. So what we're going to do today, in lieu of the full-blown matchup draft, we're going to focus on the 4 great games this weekend that are each in their own window. On Sunday, 9:30 a.m., Dolphins-Chiefs, 1 p.m., Seahawks-Ravens, 4:25 p.m., Cowboys-Eagles, and then the nightcap on NBC, Bills at Bengals. We're going to go last back to first. What's the most important matchup for Bills-Bengals? The big game on NBC, the rematch of the playoff game and the regular season game that featured the Damar Hamlin incident last year.
I feel like I look at it and go, I feel like it's going to be tough sledding for the Bills offense versus the Bengals defense, right? So I'm more looking at it like, can the Bills defense slow down what I think is about the Bengals and Joe Burrow about to take off on the offensive side of the ball? Right, and we saw in 2 games last year, I know it was limited in that first one before the Damar Hamlin, injury, but the Bengals marched the ball up and down the field on them that day. I mean, that was the start of a second drive where it looked like, whoa, they're going down again. And then, of course, when we got to the playoffs, that was the story of the game, is that the Bills defense had no answer for Cincinnati. So that's certainly the thing I look for there in that matchup.
I look at whether or not simply the Bills offense can do anything against the Cincinnati defense. It was 27-10 in the playoffs last year, and Josh Allen did not practice on Wednesday with that shoulder he banged up last Thursday night against the Buccaneers. All right, Cowboys-Eagles, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, big game between the 2 top teams in the NFC East. What's the biggest matchup there?
Can the Cowboys slow, how many assets do the Cowboys have to put to stop the Eagles' running game? Right? The big problem and what we see with Dallas when they play the 49ers or the Eagles in the NFC right now is that they are too compromised with small, fast guys on the defensive front 7 to where they can't hang in there against some of these big offensive lines. So therefore, they have to put a bunch of people there and create chaos, and they play man-to-man coverage off of that, and that's dangerous against Philadelphia. So I'm just interested in the game plan Dan Quinn can come up with here to slow down this Philadelphia offense, specifically, trying to find a way of balancing stopping the run and not letting big plays in the pass game.
I'm going to go Cowboys versus the grass. This is a point Coach Garrett makes all the time.
Yeah.
Cowboys are a different team away from home.
Yes, they are.
They are a different team on a faster track. Look what happened to them in San Francisco a few weeks ago. Tougher spot for them. If this game was in Dallas, you feel differently about it. It's in Philly. That's an inherent edge for the Eagles because it takes some of the steam out of that Cowboys defense specifically, which thrives on the faster surface. Let's take a break. We'll continue to discuss Week 9 matchups right after this. Clock Eastern, 5-2 Seattle, 6-2 Baltimore. What's your number 1 matchup from that one, Chris?
Well, I think the Ravens defense, statistically is, I believe, right now, the number 2 defense in football. I think if you let me choose what defense I could pick, I'd take the Ravens. That defense, I'm specifically going to look at just, Seattle, that's just a little bit all over the place on the offensive side of the ball. They're kind of hot, and then they can go dormant forever. We saw that last week where they kind of came out hot against the Browns and then disappeared until late in the fourth quarter. So going to be interested to see if Seattle can consistently move the ball in that Ravens defense throughout the day.
Seattle is very good at winning the games they should. They're moving toward the portion of the schedule where there are going to be games where it's like, I don't know about this.
Right.
They're going to have to prove to us and to themselves they can win these games when we're thinking, sorry, you're out of your weight class in this one. And then the last game to talk about, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Sunday, Dolphins-Chiefs. It's Tyreek Hill finally getting a crack at the Chiefs.
Right.
That's the matchup.
Right.
That's the thing to watch.
No doubt. I mean, there's just the added incentive. These two teams both look at themselves as, hey, we're the best offense, the quarterbacks, what they got. Tyreek's going to want to shove it up where. And the Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes is going to want to show Tyreek, like, hey, I'm actually more accurate than Tua. Like, screw all that stuff you said last year. It's going to get personal.
And this may determine where the rematch happens in January, if there is one. Winner more likely to host a playoff game between the two. That's it. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.